Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Zed and welcome to this video. It has been a while since I stood in front of the camera, especially here, and I don't know when I'll be back to a regular schedule. Still sporting this back injury, but I feel well enough, at least right now, to stand in front of the camera for the next 15 minutes. So it's cool. But basically, since the beginning of the year, I have watched at least one movie every single day. Now, we're only 2.5 months into the year, so anything could change. But that does mean that there's at least 7 movies that I could talk about in this platform. So that's cool. So just because there's an episode this week doesn't mean there's going to be an episode next week. I just can't promise that. But I thought it'd be cool to kind of revitalize this series and bring it back for at least an episode. So this is last week I watched number 41, and without any further ado, let's get into it.
It's showtime.
Bueller.
You lose! Good day, sir!
So to start off the week, I watched Searching for Bobby Fischer. Now, this was a Netflix drive-by. Wanted to watch something, didn't know what. Scrolled upon this and was like, okay, a movie about a child chess prodigy. That sounds kind of interesting. Have never watched a chess movie before. Supporting cast, including Lawrence Fishburne. That's awesome. He was my favorite character in the movie. He played a character called Vinny, who was like he was a role model for the young chess player, Josh, I believe was the kid's name. So you might go into this movie wondering, well, who the hell is Bobby Fischer? And you might be watching it and you're like, well, where the hell is Bobby Fischer? Well, basically, Bobby Fischer was a real-life dude. He was a chess whiz, and he won the biggest championship. He became the world's greatest chess player, and then he vanished. And for years, nobody knew where he was. Did he die? Did he go into hiding? Is he ever going to come out of retirement? Like, where's he at? Where is Bobby Fischer? And then this kid, Josh, comes along, and all of a sudden people are like, well, maybe this is the next Bobby Fischer. Josh is the next person to become the greatest chess player. Like, he was a whiz at it, just as Bobby Fischer once was. And that's what the movie's about. And it's really good. It's a dry watch. It's not super exciting. It's a movie about chess. Now, if you're into chess, then maybe the stakes will be higher. But for me, I don't know how to play chess. I barely know how to play checkers. So I just watched the movie and enjoyed it for what it was, and it was enjoyable. So growing up, I enjoyed the hell out of the first SpongeBob SquarePants movie. And then its sequel came out a couple of years ago, Sponge Out of Water, and I really liked that one too, a lot of fun. And then 2 years ago, they announced that they're making a third one, Sponge on the Run, and I thought that was cool. I was excited. I saw the trailer, I enjoyed the trailer, looking forward to it, and then I watched it. And Sponge on the Run is not good. It is a glorified trailer for its upcoming Camp Coral series, which is a SpongeBob spin-off TV series about the younger years of SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, Squidward, Mr. Krabs, all those guys. And that's just what it was. Now, the plot was sold to me as Gary goes missing, SpongeBob and Patrick do like a buddy cross-country adventure looking for him, but that's just not what it was. Now, that's not necessarily bad, but the plot just wasn't good. It didn't have characters that were likable, and again, it was just a glorified commercial. You didn't care about Gary. You didn't care. There was no stakes. You didn't care about the characters and their journey. The creator of SpongeBob SquarePants, Stephen Hillenburg, passed away just a couple of years ago. I believe just right after the second movie came out. And listen, Stephen Hillenburg wanted the series to end with the first movie. That was where he was, that was it. but Nickelodeon saw it for the cash cow that it was and continued the SpongeBob series for an additional 17 years, including 2 more movies. And they've kind of the ship is out of steam. Now Steven Hillenburg didn't want any not sequels or spin-offs to SpongeBob, but yet Nickelodeon's making Camp Coral and the Patrick Star Show. And it's just kind of sad to see that a man who has brought so much joy into our lives, seeing his baby be exploited like this. Now, I'm not going to sit here and shame Nickelodeon, because it still makes millions of kids around the world happy every single day. But it is a shame that a movie like this just was just to sell another product for them. And not even like a cool product like Transformers were to sell, like the Transformers TV show was to sell the toys. It's not even something cool like that. It's just shameful. But let's talk about a sequel that was not a disappointment. The Croods 2: A New Age was awesome. Long overdue for the Croods' return. I love the cast. I love the first movie. My little brother is a huge fan of the first movie and the TV show. He's always talking about them. And he watched this movie when it came out back on Thanksgiving. And I've just kind of been waiting to watch it. And wow, it's really, really good. Fantastic new supporting cast. Beautiful, colorful animation. The world is much bigger. New creatures. It's just overall a bigger and better experience, and that's what a sequel should do. You should watch the characters evolve. You should watch the world around them evolve. You should be introduced to new characters that you actually enjoy, and that's what the sequel did. Really enjoyed The Croods 2. Then I wanted something simple to watch, so I put on Beverly Hills Ninja. Now, the last time I saw this movie, I was probably 13, 14 years old, and I'm a Farley fan. I enjoy Farley. Tommy Boy is a lot of fun, and there's just not enough Farley performances for us to enjoy, and that's the sad part about it. Now, Beverly Hills Ninja is not his greatest movie, but it is a good performance from Farley. He's just so charismatic and lovable. Every time he's on the screen, you can't help but just smirk or smile. The movie as a whole, it's silly. It's a silly plot, but it gets away with it because Farley is the leading man, and whatever he says and does just makes you chuckle. It brightens your day. Beverly Hills Ninja is a vehicle for a Farley performance. It's the tortilla chip to Farley's queso, if you will. And then I moved on to Space Jam. Now, the sequel is coming up soon, long awaited, now starring LeBron James, Michael Jordan, maybe making an appearance. I don't know. I hope so. At least I hope he kind of like shows up for like a quick second. You're like, Michael. But I enjoy the first Space Jam. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I have huge nostalgia over it. Did I watch it as a kid? Yes, but it wasn't a movie that stuck with me. But I watch it every year, every couple of years, and I enjoy the hell out of it. It's a lot of fun. The Looney Tunes are just nostalgic for everyone, and when you have a character like Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig and Daffy Duck on the screen, you just can't help but get glued to it. And then you have the biggest sports star in the world, Michael Jordan, and you have this insane plot about an amusement park that is like falling apart and nobody's coming to the attractions anymore. You have some like these like space cockroach aliens coming and kidnapping people. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. It's kooky, weird, and crazy. Whoever sold this movie is a genius, because the plot alone will get people to kick you out of their office. So Space Jam, it's a lot of fun. I don't think I need to say anything else. Now, I've had this movie in my collection for a while now. It's a dollar store pickup, and that is The Way Back. It's been sitting in piles for the past probably like 3 years, and finally gave it a watch. And wow, the cast is great. I mean, you have Steve Carell, Tori Collette, Allison Janney, Anna Sophia Robb, Sam Rockwell, Maya Rudolph, and then Liam James, who plays the main character. And it's a coming-to-age story, but it's a coming-to-age story that doesn't necessarily have a happy ending. Now, the character does develop along the way, but at the end of the day, at the end of the summer, he's still awkward. He still has relationship issues. He still hasn't found himself. He still hasn't grown into his skin, and that's really welcoming, because it's always fun to have a happy ending. You always feel good. You maybe have the happy tears. You might clap, whatever. But at the end of the day, I had the same feeling. Like, even though it wasn't all good, I felt like we had accomplished something together. And Sam Rockwell was a great supporting cast member, a great character. Maya Rudolph, an actress that I don't usually like, I really loved her in this movie. And then a Steve Carell performance that you can't help but hate. This guy sucks, but it's Steve Carell, so you love him. It's really, really conflicting. Overall, The Way Back is just an enjoyable film, and I definitely recommend it. Twister has to be the best guilty pleasure movie of all time. It's a guilty pleasure movie that you don't need to feel guilty about actually liking, because it's genuinely a lot of fun and good. From the producers of Jurassic Park and the director of Speed, which I've never seen, Twister is so much fun. I love this movie. I love the supporting cast as well. You get the kid that played Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is my other favorite movie of all time. Philip Seymour Hoffman, who plays Dusty, the best character in the movie. It's just great. Who else do we have in this one? Obviously, we have Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton, who play the two main characters, and their relationship is great. At the beginning of the movie, Bill Paxton's character is trying to get his divorce papers signed. He is trying to move on with his life, but by the end of the movie, he finds that he is exactly where he needs to be. And you get to see a lot of twisters, a lot of destruction, a lot of high energy, a lot of camaraderie and family. I mean, these storm chasers are like the closest thing to family I've ever seen in a movie. Oh god. Also, a little fun fact, did you know that Twister is the very first movie to ever be put on DVD? There you go. And then to finish off the week, I had to pop in and watch Justice League Gods and Monsters. This might be my favorite DC animated feature. I love Elseworld stories and the interpretations of Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman in this movie are fantastic. Batman is a true vampire, and he's very conflicted because he did this because he was in poor health. He made the transformation, but he wants an antidote. He wants a way out of it. Wonder Woman is actually a new god, and she was in an arranged marriage with the New Gods and the Apocalypse people, and she ended up having to flee after an event happened in the movie. Now, when it comes to Superman, he was still from Krypton, but instead of his father being Jor-El, it was Zod. And instead of the Kents finding him when he crashed to Earth, two Latino immigrants found him and raised him, which was really, really cool. And I just love that. And these Justice League members are not afraid to kill people. They're not afraid to get their hands dirty, but they're not bad. They take the much more gory approach to it all, and I really like that. This story is just a lot of fun. There's a lot of really great little Easter eggs for fans. You get mentions of Victor Freeze, Poison Ivy, Steve Trevor, Lex Luthor. There's just a lot of stuff in this movie that if you're a fan of DC, you can just listen really hard and you'll hear some stuff and you're like, oh shit. The boom boxes are a big deal in the movie. The New Gods, obviously. I mean, it's a lot of really cool stuff. Miracle Man's in the background of a couple shots. I love Gods and Monsters. Again, Elseworld stories are my jam. So it's just one of my favorites. But that will conclude this week's episode of Last Week I Watched. Wow. That's exciting, and I got through it. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And until next time, I'll be talking to you when I talk to you.